Hello my friends, welcome to the Metal Shop Garage. Today I'm doing a little bit of decal application, Saleen decal application to the Explorer Sport. You can see I have the passenger side hash marks already applied here. No real trick to this, getting them lined up is the hardest part. Little soapy water solution so you can glide the decals so that they'll move a little bit. The spacing here is 1 inch, pretty standard for Saleen applications, so you can use 1 inch tape as I've done over here. And I elected to use, I had these on hand, number 7. It's funny because Saleen used to, when they very first started, they lied with the bumper numbers. I'm giving, because they only produced 3 cars in 1984, but they gave them, I can't remember the numbers, they gave them higher numbers to appear that they'd produced a whole bunch of them. I just arbitrarily selected number 7 there. So here you'll see I have the decals kind of spaced out using that 1 inch tape. This has a nice style line here. This is where Saleen is applying the hash mark decals to the new cars, 15 and up, I believe. And honestly, I think, you know, this is a 4-door. The doors are pretty small, and you know, the other ones that I've seen, they put the Saleen letters SALEEN on the door, and then the hash marks here, but they have to cut them down to fit in this little space, and they just don't look. They don't look quite right, in my opinion. So I'm going to try. I mean, this is a, you know, this is a tribute car, whatever you want to call it. You want to call it a fake, that's fine. So I'm going to have the letters SALEEN spaced out nice and, you know, evenly here. Maybe a little biased a little bit towards the rear edge of the car there. And I like to put the hash marks up here, like they're doing on the new cars. This is a brand new car, so I'm kind of trying to catch the vibe of, you know, of a brand new, of a 2017, you know, Saleen Explorer if they were to build one. So, got a couple of things on the back. I have an Explorer from the Explorer series, fender tag that I put on there, XP8. This one should be a 6. They did do an XP6 for the 6-cylinder Explorers, and the 8 was obviously for the 8 cylinders, but you can't try and find an XP6 emblem. These are nice. These are super nice. You know, grill and rear tailgate emblems from the S331 and the 05 and up Saleens. Yeah, these are, you know, these things sell for, you know, $50, unfortunately. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. I don't know what Saleen would have done, because Ford very creatively, this is built into the sheet metal. The oval is humped up here into the sheet metal, so I don't know how Saleen would have covered that up. Like, you know, this piece here where it says Explorer, this is just a little plastic overlay, and Saleen, if they were still, you know, ramped up in full production, I'm sure they could have an OE manufacturer make just a plain one, or they'd probably emboss Saleen in it. I think I counted on my S331, you know, if you count the valve stem covers and the wheel caps, I want to say I got up to counting Saleen or the S emblem 28 times, and I'm probably missing some. There's probably more than that. It's pretty funny, you know. But anyway, so I'm going to, these are brand new decals. Golden State, I think, out in California, manufactures these. I believe they're the OE manufacturers for Saleen. They're perfect in every way. They peel right off the backing paper quite easily. So I'm not going to show it necessarily. I spray the surface down with soapy water. You spray the decal down with soapy water. You know, you apply it. You know, you squeegee out soapy water, and you know, any bubbles that you may have, and away that you go. Getting them lined up is the key. That's everything. Is just getting them on straight. So once you get them straight to your eye, use the tape, and you're off to the races. So let's pause and see how we do. Alright, so they're on. Just got to squeegee out the soapy water. They stick like mad. Even with that soapy water, I mean, you've really got you know, a couple of chances to move the decals around and get them right. So have them lined up like this ahead of time with your tape. Sorry, you enjoy looking at the ground, looking at my feet, and I apologize, I'm too focused on the details. You get nervous, my heart started beating a little quicker, and I don't know why. These weren't terribly expensive, but I mean, the car is expensive, and you are applying a, kind of a big sticker to it, and you don't want to ruin it. So give another mercy pause here, and I'll keep squidgying these out. Okay, so you want to be really careful when you're peeling the backing paper, because of course you have to start in the corner naturally, and that is going to be where the decal is going to not want to stick. It's going to want to come up in that corner. I feel I should mention that they do want to stick to the car. I mean, the static and whatever the adhesive, it really does want to stick to the car. So here, that's worth pointing out. So the tape is 1 inch, but you see this little gap here, and it'll be the same here. So it's really going to be 1 inch and say 1/8 or 3/16 by the time that you're done. But don't be fooled by that and try and have the gap. Try and get your gap to be 1 inch and 1/8. Use the 1 inch low tack tape. See that corner came up a little bit, but these will stick like mad. I mean, they say these are 7-year decals, I believe, is the industry standard for these, and they'll last a lot longer than that if you take care of them. You can wax right over these. I've done it. Works just fine. And here you can see up close here how they do the fade. The little points, whatever you want to call them, little tack points, they always point up on the Saleens. Just remember that, because these are symmetrical from side to side. They're not. If you put the wrong side, you'll have the little points going down, and it won't be right. Check for bubbles. See, it started to come up in that corner a little bit. So it really wants to. It wants to lay down flat on your flat surface. It's amazing how you can put soapy water behind it, and you just squeegee out soapy water and away you go. So I just have a little spray bottle, a couple of drops of Dawn, a couple of tiny little drip of Dawn into that much is a good amount there. Pull off the tape. Here you can see some more water. I wouldn't recommend. I'd wait a couple of days before going to the car wash, just in case. Not too bad. The old SE style from the Fox body Mustangs are a lot bigger, much harder. I understand now why the guys in the late 60s, early 70s that worked for Chrysler and Plymouth, Dodge, whatever, complained about those huge billboards, those hockey sticks that they used to apply to their cars, and why, if you guys watch Graveyard Cars, why that idiot Mark Warman is always complaining about the decals. But imagine, something the size, half the size of that door, applying a decal half the size of that door, getting it on without any bubbles, without any imperfections to it. Nigh on impossible. So I don't know if I'm going to add on to this video doing the letters. There I have the SALEEN letters to do. I have the windshield banner to do. That's kind of a pain. So we'll see. I'm at 9 minutes 20 seconds. So maybe I'll add to this, maybe I won't. Anyway, thank you for watching. As always, take care, my friends. Alright, a couple of points I forgot in the original video. You'll see that I have the door letters applied. They come properly spaced in the backing paper. See, I oriented mine towards the front of the door. Just preference on a whim. I used about 1 letter's width to the front of the door there, but I did it to the front to tie in to the hash marks rather than in the middle of the door or to the rear. Again, just, you know, you wonder how these things end up the way they do. That's how they ended up. Oh, right. So you want to start with a very clean surface. As you can see here, my car is very dirty. So what I did was I soapy water solution, cleaned it off, soapy water solution, cleaned it off, and rubbing alcohol. I always want to go over the area with rubbing alcohol first, just to make sure that there's no wax, there's no tar, there's no pitch, there's no whatever on there. So just rubbing alcohol to clean that area first, and the decals should stick. So please let me know in the comments what you think. I don't know if I'm going to get to the windshield banner today. I'm going to do the other side with the door letters. They stand out now. It's kind of like it's slapping you in the face because that's a clean spot. They're really bright, but once you wash this thing and you know, gets a little bit of sun to it, they'll really blend in well. So here you see the S331. Funny, I held up the letters to the S331, and I elected to use you know, 05 and up, just what was available lettering and hash marks. They are smaller than the S331 door letters. Not really that much of a surprise there. Saleen did everything vehicle specific. I mean, the windshield banner that's probably one of the biggest ones they've ever made, and it's got a curve to it. Apologize if you can't see this in the low light, but I saw on eBay for sale is some you know, graphic drawings, you know, some that they had like almost like an architect or a CAD drawing designing the proper logo and arc for this. So you know, probably one of the reasons Saleen isn't in business today, from, you know, paying some graphic designer to, you know, just make it bigger for the truck. You know, we don't need to have, you know, graphic designs that probably cost them, you know, $50,000 to have a graphics package drawn up, artistically designed for this truck. Ridiculous. The letters are bigger than on the Fox body era stuff. I'll show you my Fox body. Saleen, at some point I'll do an entire video on that, as I will do an entire video on this. You can see the huge stop tech brakes in there. I got the caliper covers for the Explorer, you know, in black with the yellow Saleen letters for the Explorer. All right, cool. Thanks, my friends. Well, my friends, I did decide to go ahead and tackle the windshield banner, and I mean, from here, this distance probably looks pretty good, but I fucked that up 16 ways to Sunday. There's a slight tear in one of the letters. You can't really see. It's stuck down pretty good, but the problem is, you know, again, you know, I made jokes about the $50,000 that Saleen paid graphic designers and CAD designers to design these things. Well, maybe that was necessary, because you know, these are vehicle specific. Part of the issue is that the Saleen windshield banner, it's got an arc to it like a frown, you know, so it arcs with the S and the N is lower than the middle letters. All right, well, every windshield is arced like a happy face in the other direction. I just don't understand it. It looks kind of ridiculous on the S331, but it's extremely counterintuitive. Problem that I ran into is you know, making this work so that your windshield wipers don't drag across it, and so I had to cut it in the center, and the trained eye would see that the SAL is a little bit higher than the EEN. The S is a little bit lower on the windshield than the N is side to side. It's not centered. It's off by probably about an inch. And you can use your mirror as the center line where it's glued down. It's precisely center to that little, it's got that little black dotted spot in there that kind of to block the sun from up above the mirror. So I don't know, can I live with this? I'm not sure. I think $24.99 for a new windshield banner is probably money well spent. This, honestly, that sucked. It sucked. It was a pain in the ass. Don't get it twisted. I had a chair on either side, and you're going back and forth, trying to get it centered, you know, high, low, and yeah, that blew. So, interested to hear what you guys think in the comments. How's it look to you? I mean, honestly, it looks okay. Most people wouldn't. I don't think, honestly, if I didn't point it out to someone, would they pick out like, hey, it's crooked? I mean, it's not crooked. I mean, it's not centered. Would you pick that out if I hadn't said anything to you? So please feel free to cut me to shreds in the comments. All right. As always, my friends, thank you for watching, and have fun out there.